Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Youth Impact, where we are not just talking about growing up, we are growing up talking. Youth Impact has been brought to you by Success Africa, a Pan-African digital publication that focuses on the success of the youth from around the globe. We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way. Sit back, relax, and get a wild ride. Growing up, we have been informed that the future lies in the hands of the youth. But is this possible where we are not having employment? Success Africa went out to the street, and this is what our youth had to say about employment.
I think, according to me, the reason as to why we don't have jobs in Kenya is because of corruption. In our country, there's many people who are corrupt, and I think it's people are getting jobs according to the person that you know. So the solution to that problem, I think, corruption should be ended in Kenya. Okay, si walisema tunaweza wanatoa hizo hustler fund to the young, kwa wale watu wa chini, wakiweza ongezea yani amount kidogo ya kusupport mtu anaweza anza biashara ama kuanzisha hizi courses ndogo ndogo kama beauty, driving, and then as for those who are employing the youth, yani ya wenye wanatafuta watu wa kazi wanaweza chukua ma youth so that watoke kwa ma drugs, kwa hizi mawizi na vitu kama hizo.
Nile tu hatuna umoja, tuko na ukabila. Kama hakuna mtu wenu mahali huwezi pata kazi, lazima ulizwe ni nani ako kwa hii section, kwa hii kampuni mwenye unajua. Kama mtu wenu hayuko huko, unaambiwa hakuna kazi. So hiyo ndio shida huwa tunapitia nayo. Ikawa kama tunataka usaidizi wa kifedha, wengine wao tuko na ujuzi wa kufanya kazi, lakini hatuna wenye wataweza tu support.
Unemployment in Kenya is a very big problem. So as a youth, I would encourage ourselves to engage our minds in a wise way, in a productive way. Like I've said before, you can identify a product that is really in demand. Then you package it very well, you brand it, then you can look for customers online. In fact, looking for customers online, the only challenge that is there, you can get a client from, maybe you are in Nairobi, you get a client in Marsabit. There may be a challenge of delivering the product, but look for traffic that can really help you to get clients that are within your region, and also learn to do many things. You can multitask. You can do maybe clothing. You can be electronic.
Joining us on set today is a man I would easily describe as a man of many hats. Pastor Sam Asena is the founder of Optimize Institute, and he also topples up as a consultant, as a trainer, and many other things that you're going to learn today. Pastor Sam, welcome, karibu.
Thank you very much.
Tell us,
it's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us, who is Pastor Sam?
Yeah, like you have described, I am a pastor at Redemption Sanctuary City Center, and I also founded Optimize Institute. This is an organization that is involved in training, coaching, and consulting in the area of optimal living, making the most of who you are and what you have. My day job entails me leading a sales team at Jubilee Insurance. Yeah, that kind of describes me in a nutshell.
Okay. Now, making the most of who you are, I'd like us to go back to 2021, when literally the whole world was focusing on COVID-19. Optimize Institute brought us one of the greatest virtual meetings that we've ever had that focuses on the youth and their development. Tell us more about Crossroads.
Crossroads 2021. That was actually our inaugural meeting for young people, where we were looking at this conversation about, I'm a young man, I'm a young lady who has just finished school or college. And at this point where I'm wondering what is the best way forward. So the discussion was around what opportunities are available for me as a young person in academia, in business, in the area of talent, and in many other areas, agribusiness and all that, where I can plug in and, take advantage of those opportunities in order for me to find a way forward. That's why we call it Crossroads. You're at a point where there are many options, but you're trying to settle on the option that the best fits your skill set and all that. That's the conversation that we were having.
Okay, so unemployment is not a strange term to us as a country, specifically Kenya, to be specific. And what are some of the challenges that the youths are facing when it comes to employment, and what are some of the challenges they have in the job market?
There are very many challenges. Access to opportunities being one of them.
Yeah.
And this is not because there are no opportunities, but it's mostly because the youth maybe don't know where to look. Yeah, and it becomes the responsibility of everyone who's in a position where they can make a difference to actually point young people to where
The right direction.
these opportunities are and all that. The other thing that happens also as a challenge is a mismatch of what our colleges are teaching vis-a-vis what the market is looking for. That becomes a very big issue. So if your curriculum was done in the 80s and you never go back to it to look at updating it to reflect what the market is looking for today,
yeah.
in as far as skills are concerned, you'll be churning out graduates, but those graduates can hardly fit in the world in which we live in today. So that becomes a challenge for young people. I have this education, but this education is not relevant to what the market is looking for today.
Currently.
Yes.
So in Kenya, we have about 70% of the total population being the youth, but still we're experiencing a lot of unemployment rate. Recently, there was a report that was given about doctors, and it's surprising that up to from 2020 to date, we've only had 500 new doctors that have been employed. What exactly is happening to our country? Why are we not getting these job opportunities, yet universities are bringing out very many people? Every time when we hear reports about graduations, we're having so many people graduating, but the job market is not fit for them. They do not get the opportunities that the education system actually prepares them for.
A lot of things go into it, but one of the biggest, according to me, is the inability, I don't know whether it's inability or the lack of willingness of the government to create an enabling environment for private enterprise.
Yeah.
That, for me, I believe is the biggest contributor to the kind of situation we are in, because government can only employ so many people. NGOs will come in and get a few more people some extra jobs. Faith-based organizations will get a few more people employed. But the bulk of employment, if you look across the globe, is in private enterprise. And when the environment is not enabling, in the sense that you have a punitive tax regime, you have people probably asking for kickbacks before they give you an opportunity to set up shop in the country. You have difficulties setting up business because you're taking too much. It takes you so long and so many regulations in place in order for you to set up shop and get started. What that does is it stifles both the inflow of foreign direct investment and even local enterprise. And when that happens, naturally, the employment created will not be able to match the number of graduates, because every year we are churning out graduates. So the government needs to be ahead of its game in terms of creating that environment, because when they do, locals will set up shop, foreigners will also set up shop, and this will result in employment for many more young people. Yeah.
So I remember one particular thing about Optimize Institute is the fact that you people are focusing on life skills. And I believe you me, in school, life skills is one of the most underrated subjects. So, and I also understand that it's one of the best ways through which a youth can actually develop skills that are required for the job market. So because you people are actually emphasizing on life skills, what are some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that we are comfortably fitting into the job market?
Definitely, you begin right where you're mentioning. Pay attention in class when we are doing life skills.
We should not treat the classes as free.
Yeah, don't look at it as just part of the curriculum. There is a reason behind this being put in place. Because you see, one of the things we talk about when it comes to life skills actually has to do even with personal finance. How well do you know how to navigate your way around finance? And this is something that you see a lot of in workplaces and in many other places. People make money, but they don't know how to handle their money. And therefore, this money doesn't really end up helping them. So for me, the first thing is pay attention to what is being taught out there. Learn by putting yourself out there as well. Some of these things are actually learned by experience. So you have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do, because it is as you do that you learn how to handle new situations and new circumstances. Number 3, think about life skills as, I look at life skills from the perspective of street skills. You know, you need to know your way around the street. You're good academically, you're good professionally, but you realize that without knowing how to navigate your way around the street, all your education is going to amount to pretty much nothing. Life skills are soft skills. They are these things which are not taught in a formal class most of the time, but they are very critical to your functioning as a human being. Some of them can be acquired by observation. Just looking at what successful people do and their habits and all that, and you get to,
So literally, when you know how to go around Nairobi streets, you one of the best people who can handle their finances.
Not just finances, life.
Life itself. Nairobi is a tricky one. So now that you've mentioned finances, how best can a young person actually balance the cost of education and how to take care of themselves throughout their job training with still the need of surviving for themselves financially? Because education is also quite expensive, you understand right now. So how do you balance education and how you're supposed to sustain yourself financially at the same time?
At the onset of your career, you want to spend a bit more on personal development, and that's where the whole aspect of education comes into play. So you must make the bold decision to keep your cost of living as low as possible. Be willing, when you listen to wealthy people, one of the things they will tell you is that you should be willing to live below a certain level for some time, so that you'll be able to live above that level for a longer time when your things work out. So what that means basically is you're investing in yourself, you're investing money, you're investing time, you're investing whatever other resources you have in developing yourself, making yourself a person of value. So that then, once you've made yourself a person of value, everyone everywhere is calling you. Everyone everywhere wants to make use of you and your skills. There are people in this country who do not look for jobs.
The jobs look for
them. They move from one job to another. It's like the market is waiting for him to be available. You want me to give you an example?
Time for him, yeah, sure.
You know the guy who was trying to vie for governor of Nairobi? Polycarp.
Polycarp Igathe.
Igathe. Igathe does not look for work. Work just looks for him. He's available today, tomorrow there is an opportunity. But how did he come to that? It's the much that he has developed himself over the years. Of course, we can talk about how connected he is and all that. But you see, you can be connected, but if you have nothing to offer when you're given an opportunity, then those connections don't matter. So he has invested in himself. He has become very valuable to the market, that opportunities will look for him without him necessarily
going for them.
Yes.
So what is the space for entrepreneurship in today's world globally? Because I remember you've also mentioned that we should listen to rich people and follow their advices. And there's one myth that has been going around, that all the rich people from Jeff Bezos to Bill Gates, at some point in life they did not go to school, or probably they went and they dropped out. And it is very painful that our youth are actually picking that aspect in life. So just if you can just tell us, is school in any way going to solve the unemployment problem that we are having globally, or should everybody just find something else to do because you are listening to the rich people?
This is what I'll say. You cannot base your decisions on an outlier. You know, an outlier is somebody who does something that is so far removed from the norm.
Yeah.
That you look at it and it's amazing. Those guys are outliers. We have to be clear about that. And when you listen to the entirety of the story, you'll realize that even though they dropped out of school, later on they went back to finish their education.
But youths are so impatient, they don't wait for that party and they went back.
Yes.
Everybody picks, oh, he left, okay.
So let me leave.
Let me leave.
Leaving will not give you the results. They left
but they
because there was a reason. There was a reason behind their leaving. There is something they needed to build. So when you're leaving, what are you leaving to go and do? You know, that's what really matters. So it's not about leaving. It is
what are you going to do?
Why are you leaving? It's not just the aspect of leaving. Leaving, anybody can leave. But you're leaving school to go and do what? That you can't do while you're in school. Yes. And realizing, like I'm saying, the aspect of majority of them went back to school and still finished their degrees. Yes.
So about now you're supposed to highlight about entrepreneurship. What is the future of entrepreneurship? Because like it's like everybody is being advised, let us go and be entrepreneurs, let us create more job opportunities for ourselves, because it seems the opportunities that are there are not sufficient for about, for example, the 70% of the youths that we're having in this country. Employment only takes care about 20% of it. So the rest, the other 40%, the best option they have is entrepreneurship. So what is the future of entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs in this country?
This is what I'll say. Everybody needs to think like an entrepreneur, including those who are employed or those who are in employment. The reason why I say that is, you see, the key role of an entrepreneur is to solve problems.
Yeah.
You solve problems for a paycheck. You solve problems for money. So even in your place of work, you are hired and paid relative to the problem that the degree of the problem that you solve. You understand? So you need to look at yourself from that perspective, that yes, I am an employee. Not everyone is cut out. This must come out very clearly. Not everyone is cut out for entrepreneurship in the traditional sense of the word. Yeah. There are people who do not want to worry about budget and vision and all those things. For them, they just want to come and play a role and go home. Me, I want to... Entrepreneurship is hard.
Probably the hardest thing.
It's the toughest thing anybody can put themselves through. So it's not something to jump into simply because you heard so-and-so went in and made money, so-and-so went in and was a success story. But thinking like an entrepreneur means that even though you are within the setup of someone else's organization, you are thinking, in that space you've been given, you are thinking as though the success of that aspect of the company depends solely and entirely on you. So you are thinking about what even could come from outside to affect the carrying out of your role, so that you are able to mitigate against it before it comes to heart. You do that and you become extremely valuable to your company and to your industry at large, and they will all look for you.
Okay, so what advice would you give to a youth who's looking forward to joining the job market?
I would start by saying, think about what is available in the job market and not what you studied. Because while I'm not encouraging people to shift from their areas of profession and all that, sometimes the reality of what's on the ground in the country at the moment requires you to think beyond your chosen profession. So do not be stuck in this scenario where you're thinking, I studied medicine and therefore if there is nothing for me to do in medicine, then I fold my hands and do nothing until an opportunity avails itself. Somebody somewhere said that failure to do something because you can't do something great is pride. You know, if you fail to show up and do what's available simply because it is not as great as you had expected, is a sign of pride, and that is going to hurt you in the long run. So start small, start where you are, start with what you have, and continue to prove your value. Prove your value in the small opportunity that you're given, and in the long run, people will take notice, and many other opportunities will open up for you, and you'll be able to.
So basically, it's about making the most of who you are and what you have.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much. In just 2 or 3 words, what is the future for Optimize Institute? What should we expect from Optimize Institute?
One of the things I'll say is I think we're going to do another Crossroads Summit this year.
You should.
Between now and end of April, that should be happening. So, but in the long run, what we are looking at definitely is to help. For me, our ideal target audience for Optimize Institute is young Christian creative entrepreneurs. So I'm covering entrepreneurs, especially around the area of talent. And I'm looking at building them and developing them into profitable enterprises as we go into the future. That's what I look at as the core mandate for Optimize Institute. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was nice having this conversation with you, and I believe our young people have gotten the best of you, not just as a spiritual father, but also as somebody who has spoken out of the capacity of business.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, in our Youth of the Week segment, we are taking a look at David Lawrence, a 19-year-old boy who has developed a military robotic dog to help aid the police in the fight against terrorism.
David Lawrence Kamau, a first-year student at the Thika Technical Institute, has an invention that would help deactivate explosive devices and disarm landmines using artificial intelligence. The dog, he explained, is programmed to accurately perform the task and also minimize fatalities that may occur. Thereafter, Kamau revealed he has developed software that can communicate with the robot dog from a mobile phone, eliminating further risks of impact.
So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Can is familiarized. It is a military-grade robotic dog, meaning it is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosives and landmines in war zones. My inspiration for the robot was the insurgents' attack at our borders due to certain border disputes all over Africa and our country. So that made me to think, what if we could create machines that will fight our battles instead of sending soldiers it is easier to replace a machine than to lose a human life. Hence, I started the robotic project for over 7 years. I've been doing research, and for those 7 years, I've managed to create some prototypes which tend to solve certain problems in our societies, military, to help the military forces, to help the blind, and scientists in explorations.
The robot, using machine language, can detect explosives as far as 200 meters. The robot is the 6th in the teenager's inventory, having revealed that he has been building one every year since he turned 14. Like any budding innovator, Kamau faced challenges in acquiring material and was forced to make do with scrap metal. He hoped that the diploma in electrical and electronics engineering will help equip him to improve his skills in robot building. His mother, Rose Kimani, revealed that his son has always leaned towards innovation since he was a child.
He's been a very creative boy tangu utoto. We could see his creativity akiwa from class 3. Ningetaka kuona amefaulu at least kama hii project yake ya robot dog ikiwa at least imeanza kufanya actions kama vile huwa ana dream.
I see myself being part of an industry that we can manufacture robotic dogs for Africa and the world at large, to be able to actually to evolve our fourth industrial revolution in Africa as they are in other countries that are developed more than us.
Kamau called on the government to step in to finance not only him, but also other budding innovators, explaining that most youth are forced to abandon ideas in their inception.
Well, that was our time. Thank you for tuning in to Youth Impact. Until next time, we say, stay curious and keep making a difference. Adios.